So in my last video on bundles, I provided an overview of the different ways to do bundles on Shopify, but I received feedback that there was too much talking and too fast to follow. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the same bundle types that I covered in that video, but focus on the practical steps that you can implement today to get bundles working on your store. Let's get started. So in the last video, I mentioned that setting up a bundle as a single product is the most simple. So let's do that first, and then we can work our way up to the more complicated examples. All right, so let's move over to the computer and I'll show you this development store I set up with a bunch of products here that I ripped off from this website right here, Banging Body, which is a website I used to work on. Now, if we go to bundle and save right here, you can see that they offer fixed price bundles. And if I click on these, you can see that it combines two products that they sell separately on their website. But when you buy the bundle, you get the one price. And if we add to cart and hit checkout, we can see here that it is a single product. There are no other products. We don't see the component products in our checkout. We just see this one single product. Okay, so let me do the same thing over here. You can see I've got my, I believe it was the jumbo, there's different sizes, but there's a jumbo firming lotion and then the firming oil. So all I got to do to set up a bundle just like this is click add product, and I'm just going to copy the same details. So put my title in here. I'll upload a photo that I've already downloaded, the exact same photo, and I'll put in the price I want with the compare app price. So the price is $138 and the compare app price is $164. And I'm gonna have to add some inventory here, otherwise I won't be able to add that to the cart. All right, so that's all I need to do. And then if I go to, because I'm on a development store, it's gonna have a preview button, but I don't want that. So I wanna go to this address, but annoyingly, they put these chevrons in here instead of slashes. So I'm just going to replace the chevrons with slashes. And it's gonna ask me for my store password, annoyingly. I'll just grab that. Okay, so you can see here that I'm running this really basic test data theme. Ignore how ugly that is for now. And I've lost my copy and paste. I'll just do that again. Copy and paste in replacing the chevrons with slashes. Now, if I click add to cart, you guys should probably guess what's gonna happen. I'll go to the checkout, and once again, it's a single product with a single price. This is super simple, all right? So the one thing I think I mentioned in the previous video that we had to do for this client is, because this sells component products, we need to, one, check that both products are actually in stock before we offer this bundle for purchase. And then also, if somebody buys this bundle, we want to decrease the stock of the component products. So the app that we used for this is called Bundles. It actually has the same name as the Shopify app that I'll show you after this. But right now you can see that there's this Bundles.app inventory sync version that you can get. This is not developed by Shopify themselves. It's developed by somebody called Gazebo. So I'll install that, and hopefully I can demonstrate this on the free plan, or there's a free trial hopefully. So I'll just install that. Looks like there's a 15-day free trial, so I'll just activate that, connect my PayPal. Okay, so it looks like I'm unable to do this on a development store, but essentially how this works, as I've written about here on my blog, what you can do is take that bundle product and associate it with component products, or SKUs specifically, so the variants within those products, if there are multiple variants within each product. And what that's gonna do is keep the inventory in sync. I'm sorry I can't demonstrate that to you with a development store, but the app is pretty simple to operate. That's the theory, at least. And what I did for this client many years ago was having this one product and then keeping the inventory in sync with the component products using that app. But then since 2023, I believe it was, when Shopify announced the Cart Transform API, they created a way to do native bundles in Shopify. So I don't know if this is even needed anymore, because the next way I'm going to show you actually I think is better. So if we go back to our products here, you can see I created that Firming Duo bundle, but if we scroll down the product page here, you'll see that there's nothing within Shopify that associates that with the component products. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete that product, And then I'm going to go into apps here. I'm going to install the other bundles app, the one that is created by Shopify. And as you can see, the reviews here aren't great, 2.9, and that's because it is pretty limited, as you'll soon find out. But this is the easiest no-code way to set up a bundle on your Shopify store. Okay, so here you can see we can click here to create a bundle, and then I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to call this the Firming Duo bundle. And then here I can select the products that are components of that bundle. Okay, so this is where a lot of people already don't have their needs met with this app, because what if you want the customer to choose what products go in the bundle? Well, you can't really let them do that outside of letting them choose a variant within each of these products. Okay, so we saw that this bundle here has a jumbo firming lotion and a firming oil. So let's do that. Let's put in the jumbo firming lotion and the firming oil. I'm going to hit select on that. Now in this situation, you might have seen that they have fragrance free. So we might want to set up variants on each of these component products, and this bundles app would support that. But you can see that these guys don't even use variants. These are using separate products right here. This is how I remember it when I used to work on this website. So it looks like they haven't changed anything, but yes, this will support some variants. It'll only support up to 3 different options. As you can see, there's some limitations here. Shopify recently increased the variant limit to 2048, which is pretty cool. That's going to help a lot of people. But anyway, let's not confuse you. Let's just click save and continue. And now what this is going to do is create a product page in our admin, an actual product. I'll go back and I'll upload that Firming Duo bundle image again. And you can see here in this section here that comes from the app, I am combining the firming oil and the jumbo firming lotion here. But what I can do is I can set my own price. So here you can see instead of $164, I can set a new price. Obviously, I want to offer the bundle cheaper than buying the products individually. So I'm going to hit save on that. And I think I'm going to want to make that active. And then let's look at that on our front end. So I'm going to go copy this, replace the chevrons with slashes here. And then let's click add to cart and see how this manifests in our checkout. So if I click checkout here, you'll see that last time we just got the single product without the component products listed underneath it, but now we've got the parent product with the 2 component products listed underneath it. And so this is a better solution, I believe, than the last solution, because we're now able to visually show what the customer gets. When the order comes through to the admins on the back end of Shopify, it's going to show that these are the 2 products that need to be fulfilled, and it's also going to keep that inventory in sync. Okay. I had another example here for a bundle where there is a product here that is offered only within the bundle. So it sort of sweetens the deal, which is this essentials bundle right here. Okay, so what I could do for this is if I wanted to offer within this bundle a product that's not available for individual purchase, I've tested this and it looks like we can do this by just leaving the product on draft. Okay, so I'm going to add in a scrunchie here. This scrunchie is only available for purchase within the bundle. So I'm going to set this to draft, which as it shows here, not visible on selected sales channels or markets, but we should still be able to add this to our bundle. I'm going to add in some stock here, and then I'm going to hit save on that. Okay. So now let's create, just to prove this to you, that bundle in the bundles app, the essentials bundle. So we'll go over here. I believe it's just called the Essentials Bundle, and then we'll select our product. So what's inside? We've got one of the smaller firming lotions, and then we've got this blue thing. I think I can just figure it out by the photos. So yeah, we've got this one, and this one right here, and the scrunchie. Okay, so if I select that, now you'll see that I can create a bundle based off of that, and then I'll put that on active, hit save. And as far as I'm aware, we shouldn't have an issue with the draft product, but if so, there are other ways to hide a product individually on a store. Looks like one of our products is out of stock, or we didn't add any stock to this. Let's go to our essentials bundle. Yeah, so there's no stock on this. It's set up to track the lowest stock level of one of our products. So you can see down here, this one, the Firming and Brightening Beauty Treatment, has 0 stock. So this is the benefit of using this app. You get the same benefit as that bundles inventory syncing app before, but now in a more native Shopify way. So If I go back here, I can add that to the cart. It's missing my product photo. Not sure why. I can just add that in here. Maybe I didn't add that in yet. I probably missed that step. Okay, I'll hit save on that. And then I can add to cart. Looks like I've got both in my cart now because I didn't remove that other one, but you can see here that with the Essentials bundle, I can clearly see all the component products within it, just like I can here. And if I try to access the scrunchie product, I should not be able to do that because it's on draft. Okay, so this is just a product that we're going to be offering as a part of that bundle. There you go, 404, page not found. Okay, so those are essentially your two most easiest ways to do bundles on Shopify. You do have some customization options in the form of variants, similar to regular products, but in both of these examples, the list of the product that the customer gets in the bundle is fixed. The user can't add or remove products to and from their bundle using this method. Inevitably, this does not work for a lot of sellers. It is quite limited. Putting a bunch of products that each potentially have their own options into one single parent product, we're going to be highly constricted in terms of what options that we can provide. On the flip side, now let's look at a completely different approach. Mix and match bundles. This is what you'd be looking at if there's a variable number of component products that need to be included in the bundle. Customers need to be able to select from a list of products, not variants, and or the bundle needs to include more than 30 products. So to give you an example, with fixed bundles, I could do a cap, shirt, and shorts bundle, but the product list is fixed, so it would have to be the same cap, shirt, and shorts product each time. The user would only be able to select from the variants of each product. So if each of these had different colors, I could mix and match the colors, but I couldn't swap out one product for another. Let's contrast that with this example that I built for a client, country labeled. If you look closely, you can see that the customer gets a cap, shirt, and shorts, but they get to choose whatever product they like within each category of product, and they get a third level of customization at the variant level to choose their size. In this example, once we get to the checkout, you can see that these products are not actually linked together, but we do have a discount that we provide to the customer here to entice the customer to buy this set of products together. To be clear, what this example is essentially doing is making it quick and easy for the customer to build their cart. The customer could have created the same cart by navigating through a bunch of pages on the store, but this bundle builder makes the process a lot more streamlined. If you'd like me to build you something similar, feel free to get in touch, but essentially the biggest upside with this approach is also its biggest downfall. Because these basket of products are not linked together in the cart or checkout, it's harder to give this bundle a fixed price. And as I mentioned before, the user could have gotten the same result adding these items to their cart using the regular shopping experience, which means that it's now harder for us to identify if the products were actually added using the bundle building interface or not. So on one side, you've got a single product with limited customization options, and on the other, you have a basket of products that to the customer, you advertise as a bundle, but from a technical standpoint, it's just a bunch of products in the cart like any other. Okay, so I think it's pretty safe to say that ideally we would want our bundles to be something like this. A single product with nested products inside of it that customers will receive at a single fixed price. But this feature in Shopify is still relatively new, and currently the list of products inside of bundle products are not determined by the customers, they're determined by the store's admin. So unfortunately, while bundling has gotten easier in some small ways over the years, Shopify sellers and the developers like myself who work for them have to get quite creative about how we offer bundles. You might find a ton of apps on the App Store that offer bundling functionality, but there's no standard way for how these apps actually achieve bundling on your store. Unfortunately, it's virtually always a hack solution. One of these hacks is to use line item properties. For those unfamiliar with line item properties, they're basically simple bits of text that get sent through to the line item when the user adds a product to the cart. They consist of a name and value pair, and because it's just text, it's quite a flexible way to send something like a user selection of products through to a single product. So developers and the apps created by them can use this to record a user selection and send it through as simple text to the order for the seller to fulfill. But because it is simple text and not tied to any other data in Shopify, I find that this doesn't work for a lot of sellers whose ERP or backend fulfillment software needs to read a proper list of SKUs from the order. That being said, for a lot of you watching, line item properties could be the hack to save whatever information you need to collect from your users, which in the case of bundles could be the selection of products within that bundle. Okay, so we've covered quite a few simple examples, and I've gone into how and why bundles can get complicated in this video. In my last bundles video, I tried to be quite broad with my overview because the requirements for bundles really do vary from situation to situation. But if you can really simplify your bundles to fit a fixed list of products, then implementing bundles can be quite simple. If your bundle idea, however, is not so simple, you can feel free to reach out to me via the contact link in the description below. And if you have any questions or feedback on this video, as always, leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.